Okay, this one is tough. I got it wrong the first time, honestly. So, how about your three options? I'm going to give you King A6, King C5, B3. Choose wisely, friends. This definitely is a tough one. It's easy to draw with white. I'll give you that. Pretty difficult to lose with white, unless you have like a wicked mouse slip as the d-pawn is running away. So let's give you a moment to pause and see if you can't figure this out and potentially the theme that we're looking for here. Okay? So, if you chose King A6, you are absolutely right. Good on you for choosing the correct move. Hopefully you got the whole variation. Now, if you chose King C5 or B3, we give you a consolation prize. You don't win, but you at least get half a point. So let's go ahead and take a look at our half-point tries. Well, B3. You know, we say, okay, we want to waste a tempo here. This is terrible king and pawn technique because you never know when that tempi is going to matter. Where we needed to keep that Steinitz rule, that pawn back on the initial square, so we have the option to push it 2 or 1 to pass if need be. It's critical in king and pawn endgames. After king b7, king c5, d6, well, if we take the pawn, black's boxing us out and has a clear path to capture our b3 pawn, so we can't do that. And he's gotten us to go away just enough. King c4, but we know he's got the opposition. Therefore, the game's a draw. If only that pawn were on b2 right now, we would be able to push. We would have the opposition. We would win. b3. That one's not going to do it. Okay, what about king c5? King c5 in the initial position doesn't seem to ruin anything. Or does it? King b7. And the problem is, white goes for this idea again, b3. He goes, okay, well, I'm going to make progress with my pawns. But the issue is, if he pushes again with the b pawn, he's going to lose both. He's made progress with the pawns, but has he? King b5, we got to go after that one. And then, lo and behold, black has the opposition. We're back in a drawn ending. Why, oh why, does king a6 win? So, if you haven't figured it out by now, give yourself another pause. Now that you know the first starting move with king a6, and see if you can't figure out the variation with a hint in mind that we need to keep that guy back on a starting square for that extra tempi. So after king a6, if d5, because we need to calculate both variations, d5 or d6, probably moving the king not the best idea because white's just going to move the king up and queen. King b5, got to go after the pawn. And this is looking very similar to our 1b3 variation, but that key difference exists. Boom. Now we have that opposition. Black has to move, and our pawn is going up the board, and it's going to be a girl. So coming back, what about if d6? Not king b5, but king a5. And by the way, if b7, this is also problematic because we're going to be boxed out and the king has a direct path. So king a5, with the idea of king b7, king b5, that's what we're looking for. Landmine squares. We've seen this in previous variations. So black doesn't step on b7. We don't step on b5. Both are avoiding the b file, those landmine squares. b8. king a4, king a5 with the triangulation. Now it forces black to push the pawn because king moves just don't do it anymore. Now we go after the pawn. And very lovely, we finish with the opposition. And we know that's a win if you went through video 1 and you're practiced in king and pawn endgames. It's a girl, and that's going to do it.